Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where it's been just a brilliant week to be a Rangers fan for once. We've been able to see off Fenerbahce in the Europa League quarter-finals, which was the bigger game of the two on paper for us this season for winning a trophy. Some silverware we're through. We face Athletic Bilbao next. There'll be a step up definitely, but we'll talk about that as we go on. And then Sunday, 120 minutes of pure graft against Fenerbahce, penalties, the emotions of that game. Then going into an Old Firm derby where it was Celtic's big day out. They were coming out to they're going to win the league against Rangers again, and Rangers
Mm.
turned up on St Patrick's Day weekend and done them over. So, all round a nice weekend, a nice week to be a Rangers fan. And we'll get on to it now. So, firstly, we'll go on to the Fenerbahce game, which I said was a massive game in
Mm.
itself. I think the 3-1 that we had over there was obviously a brilliant result, but the game was far from over. Fenerbahce were going to come here and they were going to try and frustrate us. They were going to try and score early. They were going to try and get back into the game, which they did over the 90 minutes. They beat us 2-0, obviously, as the game went on and into extra time after that. It was a bit of a weird performance for Rangers. I could definitely see, again, something that's not too great with Rangers in this moment in time is when the onus is on them to take the game and they're in control and they're the favourite to go through. They don't play the same. They don't have
Yeah.
the same mindset, I don't think. But back to the Fenerbahce game away from home, we weren't expected to take it in. We win the game. It's something that really needs to be sorted in this Rangers team with the underdog mentality, because there was chances in that game that we could have scored. We could have made it a bit easier for ourselves, but I don't think we ever really looked like the team that was going to win this game over the piece. It was more just getting to penalties and trying our luck there.
Just trying a lot there, as you say. We don't really favour being the being the team to go out and actually do the job and finish it off. More the underdogs, and you could tell as well it was just Mourinho games as well in the park. You know what I mean? That Brazilian boy just rolling around, nobody touching him. But no, the as I say, we finally we're through, mate. We're through. It was great. As I say, it was a difficult game. Difficult game, obviously, for the way they were. You expected both teams had enough time to prepare for this one. You knew it was going to be a different game compared to obviously the away game. I'm happy, obviously, this time going through obviously Atletico Hangme. We're going to have the away tie second, which I think might be a bit of a favour here because obviously the boys are struggling to play at home. But nah, it's a difficult game, difficult, and as I say, we're through, mate. It's all that matters.
I know that's a big thing. You can play well, play shite, play whatever, as long as you're kind of in the game. And we were
Game.
till the end of extra time. I thought we were probably the better team in extra time, to be honest. Over the 90 minutes, I definitely think Fenerbahce had a number here, but it was all about the penalty shootout, and it was a good shootout for once. I mean, the first time since 2016 against Celtic at Hampden, the Barry Mackay days, that we've won a
Ah,
penalty shootout. It's been agony ever since, and I think me and you were the exact same. Watching this game, could have wanted anything else other than a penalty shootout here.
ah.
But over the case, it definitely it deserved to go to penalties. The two teams were. It was a game of kind of Fenerbahce were good at Ibrox, we were good over there. Settle out with a shootout, and Rangers finally came out on top. Yanis Hadji, of course, missing, but the penalties for Fenerbahce were poor. Tadic and Freds both getting saved by Butland, and obviously the boy missing at the end. So, it was good scenes in Ibrox. It felt like a massive
Massive.
achievement to go through again, and you can't fault the team, can't fault the management either. They managed this game well over the two legs, I think.
Oh, absolutely, mate. As I say, just the graft the boys put in. I know, obviously, we're on the better team on the night or what have you, but didn't matter, obviously, going through in penalties, but just the graft they put in just to continuously go. Again, I thought Shooter was immense as well. Last couple of games, John Shooter's been brilliant. So, really, when you look at the team, I thought the weakest thing was Yefty for me. But as I say, the boys put a shift in. You were calling for Hamza and stuff like that. He came on maybe a bit early, weren't really getting much for Dessers or what have you, but we're through, mate. We're away to sunny Spain. Aviva España.
I know.
That's
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 it. That's the quarter final. It's going to be a tough game going over there. They're beating they put out Roma. Sorry, over the two legs at home. They look like a really strong team to go out there and get a result
Everton.
against. So as you say, us being at Ibrox first, it could help us. We know we need to do at home to be able to take something over there. So, aye, it'll be a tough game. You watch more La Liga than me, but they're fourth in the table. They've beat Real Madrid just at the tail end of last year. They're up there, they're fighting, and it'll be a tough game.
It'll be a tough game, mate. They're just obviously desperate to win in at host city, so you obviously want to get through and you obviously want to win it. But I fancy our chances still, mate. As I say, listen, bigger teams, bigger clubs have came and we've seen them off, so we'll see what happens. I'm just happy, as I say, the second leg's the away leg, because it seems that these lads prefer playing away from home than they do it playing at home at the moment. So fingers crossed.
No, that's maybe something that has been kind of taken away for us, of course, winning the game through penalties. It's another home defeat again. That's 4 in the bounce at home at Ibrox, which is kind of unheard of. So that is something that definitely needs to change and fast. I think we've got Dundee away after the international break, and then we've got this game. So the games are coming. They're coming thick and fast. We've got a bit of time to kind of prepare for this, though. I think Barry Ferguson and his team have wanted that time. They've been in, kind of thrown into the deep end with all the games that they've had to play, but there'll be a bit of time now between the international break to prepare for this game and hopefully get a good result at Ibrox and go through in the tie. Because, I mean, you're thinking about it, it's you're like 4 games away for a Europa League final again. Like, there's got to be a level of motivation in these players to go and achieve that, and that would be something that I would have never expected after getting to the last one. So, let's see how we go.
It is as well with the rest of the teams that are obviously still in it as well. Some difficult competition in there. Obviously potentially waiting on a semi-final with either Lyon or Man United, which we've played both of them this season. So we bit of knowledge there, but looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to it. Sunny
Looking
Spain.
forward to it. Nah, it's the thing we've got to look forward to. But yesterday's game was a nice welcome surprise for once at Celtic Park to go out there and win. I mean, the last 3 now Old Firm games, we've went 1-0 up in them. The last 3 Old Firm games, we've been the better team in them. The cup final was a sore one, of course, because we were the better team, because we dragged ourselves right back into the game. Danilo scoring that one to force extra time. The penalty, obviously, with Czerny was annoying, and then the penalty shootout was a bit of heartbreak in the end, but we've definitely had Celtic's number for the past few games anyway. We've learned how to play against them. We've learned how to not panic on the ball against them. We've learned how to take our chances. We've learned how to kind of just play as a team against Celtic rather than just throw the blame here and there. You remember the one last season where Lundstram just had probably one of the worst games I've ever seen MD have for Rangers, where he basically caused the first goal, he scored an own goal and he gets sent off. Like, that's like one of the worst games you could ever conjure up as a Rangers player. So I think from that game, looking at where we are now at Celtic Park, probably we maybe a weaker team, slightly newer team to this fixture. We've performed ever so well this season in the Old Firm games. The first one of the season was a write-off, but the last 3 we can definitely take some good pointers for. The one at Ibrox in the new year was a strong performance where Celtic had nothing to answer for. This one, you knew Celtic would come back into it after going 2-0 up so early, and then putting heavy pressure on them and their fans to get behind them and get the goals back. And you knew the second half they would come out and they would try and dominate the game, which they did for large parts, and they got back into it. It just felt different though. It felt like that Rangers team last seasons before, would have went 2-0 up, 2 each, and Celtic would have then just went onslaught and it would have finished about 5-2 to Celtic in the end. But we stuck in. Barry Ferguson made really smart changes throughout the game. I think obviously Proper coming on for a kind of enforced change for Balogun was a bit scary at the time, but I think he handled it relatively well, minus a few stray passes and such. And yeah, the team that started the game deserve all the plaudits that they'll receive for this one, because the game plan was carried out expertly for the first 45 minutes. I mean, exactly what we've wanted for a Rangers team going to Celtic Park is just don't let them into the game early. Just press them into mistakes, get fouls, get throw-ins, get corners, get free kicks. Just play off the crowd who they'll be heavily on Celtic and they'll be heavily behind the team at that point. Just make sure you make it difficult for them, and we did in the first 5 minutes. We're 1-0 up through a corner. the corner that we got was through a good chance for Nico Raskin forcing a save for Schmeichel as well. But it's nice to actually feel like the corners are a bit threatening now. Every corner we hit in, I thought, right, we've got a chance of doing something with this one. And of course, it was Nico Raskin that popped up with the goal. Very similar to the corner that we had for Proper's goal in the last Old Firm game at Ibrox, where Nico Raskin's at the front post and he's trying to just head it on to whoever at the back post, but it ended up a good flick on and sends us 1-0 up. Of course, with the away fans now back at Ibrox, you hear the roar, and it was, of course, a nice way to start the game.
It was a brilliant way to start the game, mate. Far too many times we've gone there, and I feel like we've just sat back and, you know what I mean, just invited the pressure on straight away. It was nice to just go take a fight to them. I think it shows the difference really there, doesn't it? Really, obviously, with people in the dugout, obviously they know what it means, and obviously Barry said it in his build-up, what have you. He needs players that are ready to go to war. Lads came out and they showed they were ready to go to war. As you say, getting the corners straight away. I was just, I honestly, I didn't expect. I thought, right, after Thursday, you know, go there, just get a good proud showing of ourselves and what have you. But for 45 minutes in that first half, we absolutely battered them, man.
No.
Absolutely all over them, getting the two early goals, you say, and just the work they've done. And I'm like, right, cool. The Rangers need to play extra time all the time so that we get this kind of performance. That's just the way you feel. But extremely proud of that first half. You say Celtic came back into the game and it was expected, you know, it would happen. The question was, could we withstand it? And then obviously try and take our chances. But no, credit to the players, I say, ran themselves into the ground. I thought obviously my boy Nico Raskin getting a goal and an assist, and then just thought it was fantastic. Yilmaz came in. I thought Yilmaz done brilliantly. I was really worried, obviously, when Yefty was playing on the Thursday. I was thinking to myself, right, I don't really want to be starting him, but and you knew with Balogun as well, mate. You knew he was only going to be able to give you 45. Obviously, the ages it and what have you. So you were nervous when Proper came on. Extremely nervous. You looked at him, you thought, he's not up for it. And I tell you what, see when we do the whole list where we go buy and sell, he's one of the first ones out the door. He just doesn't seem to be asked. You look at him in the celebrations and that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but but Suter, thought Suter was immense. Butland made some big saves. I personally owe Jack Butler an apology. So sorry, Jack. I'm sorry I doubted you in the penalty saves. And then some massive saves in this game as well. Sterling, fantastic. Thought Tavernier done all right. Maybe for the goal you could have him in Sterling, obviously for Maeda's goal. And as I say, Barron and Diomande as well, just fantastic. But Cherny up top as well, done really well. Obviously, keep the water bottles away from him. You don't want to be scaring the lot. And Dessers, he had a fight in his hand into with Carter Vickers. That's the one guy you've got to say, I would say, for them is just what an absolute brick wall at the back that guy is, man. An absolute, It doesn't seem to matter who's playing beside him. He's just always, you know what I mean, just solid, man.
Nah, and I think that was probably one of Carter Vickers' poorer games for Celtic against us as well.
That's what I'm on about. Like,
I think if you're looking at it a Celtic point of view and what we expected to see for Celtic, I definitely expected to see Celtic coming out the traps quick, trying to score, excite their fans, getting an early lead, and just go for there. But this Rangers setup and this way that we are playing, it doesn't let them do that. It doesn't let them get in the areas where they need to be. I mean, you look at the press for Rangers, it's aggressive, it's straight on them. It's not really, it's so different to what we're used to in this fixture, where Rangers in seasons gone by would be so nervous to do anything in this game, but they're right at them, they're pressing. I think when you see the ball go out, Rangers are happy to kind of let Celtic players have it, but then as soon as it's on, like a Johnson, as soon as it was on a Schlupp or something, it was straight in, just press him, get the ball off him, and they were forced to then go long with the ball as well at times. So the setup in the first half worked a treat. You had the midfield three dominated Celtic. You could even say a midfield five at times as well, with Yilmaz and Tavernier pushing up. And I think that suits everybody in this team. It suits Connor Barron to be that guy that's not expected to go and do what Diomande and Raskin done in this game. Just sit, just mop up, make sure your possession's comfortable, and get the team moving forward. And he done that well. Diomande is a guy that we saw a tweet and enjoyed that last night. He's just became a bastard in this team. He just became somebody that it's just he's up for the scrap, and he's up for the fight, he's up for the war that's going to be an Old Firm game, and he scores. It's just a perfect goal, really, from Rangers' point of view. Tavernier spotting Raskin, who again he had the intelligence to make that run into the box. Fantastic header again for him, and Diomande obviously had a lot to do with the finish and puts us 2-0 up. But I think the first half there's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot to look at and be happy about with this team and the way they're working. Um,
Well,
of course, the
that's
second half was a bit different.
you
Celtic did come
expected
back
that.
into the game, but
You
aye,
you expected them to come back into the game, but I think that's the thing I'm most proud of seeing for Raskin and Diomande and stuff. Is like times throughout the season seen them being a bit too soft and easy to be pushed over and stuff like that. You're seeing them turning into right bastards, as you say there. You're seeing them being aggressive and wanting the ball. I mean, my boy Nico Raskin, fantastic, obviously getting a call up for Belgium. That's what we love to see. But no, as I say, just it's great to see finally them actually being the players that you knew are there, and you know what I mean. It just maybe taking somebody like Barry, as I say, to bring that nasty side, that aggressive side out in them, which is great to see, as I say. I thought, you knew Celtic, as I say, you knew Celtic were coming back in here. My thing was just try and get Hams on quicker, but because I thought Dessers was having a bit of
Dessers was kind of blowing out his arse a wee bit
he
towards the end of
just
the game.
he just he looked a bit blown, and then obviously the boy comes on, and what a finish, what a goal, sensational scenes, some enjoy some water celebrations. Others don't like water and soap, so you know what I mean. They tend to run away for that, but aye.
Aye, no, aye. It was just one of those games where, as you say, Celtic came back into it. They get the early goal. Tavernier and Sterling, I think, that are around about it, probably should do a lot better. It felt like it was such an avoidable goal for my that you get up that high. And then Celtic did push. They pushed for the goals. We kind of took the sting out of the game after they got that goal. The fans were behind them. And it was a bit of a lapse in concentration, I think, for Hadji to let them in and Hatate finishes it. It's a nice finish. And they got that opportunity they were working for. We had a couple of opportunities ourselves after that. I remember Connor Barron having one that was a really big chance in the second half where he dragged it wide. He's probably, again, not the guy you want to see in the box and the ball's falling to
No.
him in that situation, but it did take a lot to then pull out of the bag. Barry Ferguson made the change. He made big changes at big times, of course, taking Barron, Diomande, Cherny all off kind of at the same time and replacing them with Lawrence, Igaman, and was it Hadji, I think.
Aye.
Making a lot of changes when you're going for the game is a big deal, and somebody who wasn't kind of afraid to then take a risk to win the game. And obviously, Igaman has been a fantastic talent for us this season. He's tailed off recently, but he's still got that obvious quality that he's going to be a good player for the future and a good player for this club, hopefully beyond next season. But it was a bit of a disaster for Celtic. I mean, it's a long ball for Butland, misjudged slip by Alistair Johnson, and then, I mean, he has a lot to do. Hamza, to be fair to him, he has to then take it by the player, and he has to then score. But I didn't expect him to rifle it in the top corner. I mean, it was such a satisfying goal to watch and such a brilliant finish for him, and definitely a goal he needed, and it will be one that will be looked up on for years and years to come as a good, massive Old Firm winner. And a lot of people have then been like, "Oh, how's that a massive win if we're 13 points ahead of you?" I'm like, how spin the narrative? It's an Old Firm game. any time these
Well,
two teams meet, it's big.
that's the thing in it. They were getting the big game all, you know what I mean? Faith, really for when we were playing Thursday onwards, days when I was obviously people I know that are Celtic fans and that were getting the big game and stuff. Oh, I can't make plays and all this kind of stuff. And hope he's bring a suit and that. He's are all going to, and you're just the normal stuff. We weren't even thinking about it. We weren't even worried about this game. You know what I mean? We were more focused on going through into Europe, getting to a quarter final, potentially obviously win a trophy. These lot obviously it just felt like they were really, oh, this is only you know what I mean? It was just
Just
typical.
felt they were really clutching at straws, to be honest, because we were playing in
Uh,
Europe and all of their focus wasn't on them the same way that all of their focus was on us. I mean, I
it's
forgot
just,
we even had an Old Firm game at the weekend because Thursday was that important, I'll be honest.
well, I mean, even you seen the thing me as well with that podcast today with the boy for scoreboard and all that, and Sutton's on about like 8-0 and all this kind of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You could tell they were.
That's the
Aye.
satisfying part of it all. Is Celtic believe that they'll just go to Celtic Park. They believe they'll go anywhere and they'll just win. They'll just
Ah, well,
it's like
entitlement,
a
innit? It's just,
formality. It's an entitlement that Celtic have been brought up with. And it's again one of those things that we have to stop. We have to stop them believing that they're just going to go into games and cruise. We came, we set up well, we were in their faces, and they didn't like that, and we won the game because of how aggressive and how much we wanted to win the game. It looked like Celtic really didn't want to win this game, if I'm being honest. Um, they had chances upon chances that Butland saved that they could have done a lot better with. I think if you look at some of their poorer performances in the team as well, I mean, look at Arnie Engels. I mean, he's £11 million in value. I think Nico Raskin's the better midfielder out of the two of them that plays with Belgium, and that's obvious why he's then been called up. I think Engels was invisible really. McCowan, I don't feel it really stepped up to the standard in the marquee in Old Firm game. Alistair Johnston had a really terrible game
ah,
um, for them as well. Kuhn, of course, getting subbed at half time, but Adam Ida coming on and doing nothing, like literally nothing. And that's when you think about it, it's like that's £20 million in value that Celtic have potentially wasted, and they can keep on whittling away that money if they want, because if they're buying in players like that, then we'll
mm.
obviously see.
Well,
And
listen, that obviously, every time I really see these, what is obviously when we're playing them. But I tell you what, the players that to me, when you see it, are the ones that Ange signed. They seem to be the ones that are consistent for them.
no,
You know what I
I
mean?
mean Dyson Maeda is an absolute nightmare to play against.
Maeda. I mean, I think for them it was a massive mistake to let Kyogo go. I really do. I think I think that was a massive mistake on their part. You know what I mean? Brilliant for us, but I just anytime you see them, any of their dangerous players are the ones I feel like obviously Ange signed. I mean, you go Maeda, Hatate. Just you know what I mean. You look at the people Rodgers has sort of brought in for them. You're thinking to yourself, are they really signings you would want? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Schmeichel, dearie me.
No,
I don't.
he was really poor. I think again, if you look at the two goalkeepers in the game, Butland stepped
Spent
up
too
and he
long at
made
McDonald's,
saves.
that boy, didn't
Aye,
he?
Schmeichel just can't
Clever.
dive. Schmeichel just
Big
cannot
job.
dive, and he was poor, and his distribution just put Celtic under pressure every single time. But again, that was all down to us playing a game plan where we were pressing them high and forcing them into their mistakes. But I think over the reflection of it all, the big thing it's a massive game for Barry Ferguson. I mean, he's took Rangers for 3 weeks now, and he's been able to get more out of this team than Clermont ever really did. He's showed more heart and more fight and more desire and more passion and character into these Rangers team than Philippe Clement could ever really get out of them. You see players doing dirty work for each other. You see players again working in as a team. Basically, that's one of the things that we haven't had for a while. It was all kind of based on individuals and all based on it was pointing fingers at you and them and whatever else. But Barry Ferguson's just came in. He's been able to be honest with the Rangers team, I would imagine, and then he's been able to get the best out of them with him. Of course, playing and captaining and winning trophies here, knows exactly what it's all about, and that's maybe a cliche thing to say about we need Rangers men in, but it definitely does help when you've got somebody that's been there and done it at a high level, like Barry Ferguson has for the club. So it's a massive occasion for him, beating Celtic on their own turf, that not many Rangers managers are able to
Well, that's
do.
what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Obviously, Sky done the whole thing with before the game. Obviously, Rangers managers like first time at Celtic Park and that, and most of them either get battered or it's a draw. Obviously, the Gerrard one was close, but for Ferguson, I think that's massive. I really do. Obviously, it was massive getting us through in Europe as well, but this is massive as well. You're just proud to say, and you're happy to see it for him, and the staff as well. By the way, let's not hang me as the rest of the staff. I think that Moroccan boy as well. He's a special one. He's a gem. I feel like obviously McGregor and the rest of them in there as well. They all know what it means to play for the club, and it is important to have that because you see when you do have it, the players come out in the other way that they were there. Whereas you know what I mean, if that was Clermont again, guarantee you it'd be a completely and utterly different result.
Well, you see, when you think about it, for instance, Barry Ferguson's took his team 120 minutes, penalties, we've won. Aye, this took a lot out of the team. You have to then rest, recover, get ready for Sunday, which is what Celtic have been waiting for. They've been waiting all week for this game to come around. We then show up, we then put that level of performance in. Under Clement, Rangers would have threw the towel in. Rangers would have been excuses. We played 120 minutes, we were tired, we had to rest these players, we had to play these players. Now, Barry Ferguson just came out and says, I'm going to just play Yilmaz because I can't play Yefty. I'm going to play the same team and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And that is something that wouldn't have happened under Clement. Clement is trying to victim blame and make himself feel like the guy that's
Done wrong by. Aye. No,
aye.
I get it. As I say, you weren't going to get any of that for Ferguson, straight away. You go out there and you give everything for that shot, you know what I mean? You go out there and give absolutely everything. And get a wee bit more time on the grass now, obviously, is what he's wanting to see. So, obviously, an international kind of wee break here now, innit? So, get a wee bit work with the players, obviously, that aren't going away internationally. I tell you what, Bajrami he can stay with Albania or wherever he's playing because he's fucking useless. He's another one that's one of the man that you're putting out the door
Aye,
straight away.
there's a couple of
Very
them that
telling he wasn't bringing him on like when he was doing the subs. I thought, right, maybe
aye.
brought Lawrence on before him.
I think it's
That's
pretty
very
telling when you see the guys like Bajrami and Proper and their levels still haven't really got to the levels where
no good
we
enough.
see Diomande and Yilmaz and like
I mean,
Souters
just
and all of them. They've rose the level since Barry's came in. Dessers, for example, but you're not seeing it with these guys.
I mean, you look at him, it's his work rate off the ball and everything like that. He just doesn't, arse, just walking about, just happy to. I mean, look at the pigeons at Ibrox, look, he's just looking at them, you know what I mean, instead of hanging in the game. That boy for me, he was a waste of money. An absolute
On
waste of money.
reflection, he doesn't look like a guy that's going to be at Rangers
No got
long.
it in him. He's no get a work in him. He's no a worker. He's
Yeah,
no
and
got it.
I think that's something that if he wants to stay at Rangers, if Barry fancies playing him, he has to up his game. I think when you even look
You're
at
looking at
the press conference and the interviews for the game yesterday, Barry was critical of Hamza Agaman and Raskin, like two of your better players on the day. Like boy wins you the game, Raskin gets an assist and a goal and does really well, but he's still like no, they can do more. They can do more to
no.
be better footballers, and
But
that's
that's what you
exactly
want.
what you're at.
That's what you want. You want your manager demanding more of you. As I say, all the boys that are playing now, they're grafters, they're workers. You see it, even as I say, Barn, he'll run his legs into the ground for you. I want players like that at the club, not players that are just, do you know what I mean, a wee bit of flair on the ball and that's about all they've got to offer. No, you better track back, you better put a shift in, not just, you know what I mean, give me the ball going forward. Felt a bit thing for Danilo, obviously, as well, on Thursday when he nearly broke his wrist punching the chairs or whatever he was
I
doing.
know,
And
but
then
that's again one of those signs where he's desperate to go on that pitch and play.
no, I know he's desperate to get on the park, but obviously the manager's not seeing it in the training part. You know what I mean? He's not
Yep.
seeing the work he needs to be seeing. I thought maybe he could have been a shout. As I say, for me, it's telling that the manager's picking Tom Lawrence over these players. Lawrence is going to be gone. Like, he's going to be gone. There's no
Lawrence
way
is
you're...
going to be gone, but Lawrence has applied himself really well in the past couple of weeks under Ferguson, where he's just
Oh,
came
no,
in.
absolutely. But
He's came
he's,
in. He's come into the games. He's done well. He scored a penalty, of course, against them, and he's definitely seems more of the type that Barry would fancy, to be honest.
but that's what I'm saying. He's obviously fancies them more than these two. The two of them must not be doing enough, obviously, in training. Not to be
Yep.
getting on the park at all. I mean, Danilo got a goal last time and everything, you know what I mean? Why is he...
I
I
mean, he
just...
scored in two of the Old Firm games this season. I think
can't
the
remember it.
time will come for Danilo. I think Barry's definitely got his favoured way of playing. He likes Dessers being that guy up the top. He likes having Diomande and Czerny playing off him. It's whether Danilo can then do that role
Would you...
as well.
Absolutely. But would you say he's in? Obviously, I know it was. You can be reactionary and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I gave him a job or not. You've got to say he's putting himself forward in contention a wee bit here. Like, I obviously, they have different plans going in the summer. He's obviously here just to see it out. Listen, if the man goes and wins Europa League,
Yeah.
you can't know at least game of looking. You know what I mean?
No, I know that's the big thing now. It's whether we can continue doing this. It's the big things for me are the games against Dundee, for example, next, and the cannon fodder of the league basically that we can't beat.
You
We're
can't.
fair. Look at the last three games we've played. Fenerbahce away, we won. We've won in penalties at Ibrox, and we've beat Celtic away. Like they games are always fine. Like we'll win the games and we'll enjoy it. But we need to beat the rest of the league as well. That's the big thing for me. We need to get these players up for these games as well. So, it'll be interesting to see where we, of course, end up results wise towards the end of the season. If Ferguson's getting every ounce out of this team, I mean, he's in the conversation exactly, but I
But
think if you have to appoint him, you probably be looking at the way the kind of current setup is now, and maybe adding another coach in, like Shirai, the Moroccan boy, and adding another coach in that can do
aye,
more in terms of what Rangers have to be. But I think the team's doing good now, and I can't really fault them.
you can't fault it. Listen, you can't fault it. I think it's just refreshing to enjoy actually wanting to hear the manager talk before and after the games. I've not enjoyed that obviously since Gerrard. That's just a fact, mate. It really is. Most of the man, obviously Gio, you love Gio, but you don't really want to listen to Gio
Yeah.
talk. But no, man, it's just refreshing to enjoy that. And as I say, everybody that's in that management setup for me is likable. There's not one of them I look at and I'm like, oh, just, I mean, I'm happy, obviously, that boy still there. Obviously, could have, well, he just came in when Clement was,
Nah,
as you said,
I think he
Clement
was only in for like a week or something. Then come on, get sacked.
so
Aye.
then Clement get hanged. I definitely think he's playing a massive part. I think he's somebody who's probably an unsung hero at the moment. Um, but aye, just fantastic. It was a great Sunday. It was a beautiful Sunday, some would say. And let's hope it continues.
Aye, that's it, and we can enjoy looking back at the highlights and the reaction for this game now over the next week or so when the international break's on. It's always good winning an Old Firm game getting into an international break because that agony and that disappointment for the other side definitely it lingers for longer then because there's no game to follow up with. But aye, that's been the podcast. If you'd like, subscribe and share, and put your comments in the comments below on the game, and we'll get back to you there. So see you soon.